everybody. Welcome to Katie Moonchild's world in the Lightworkers RoundTable. I would like to introduce to you the wonderful Minnassa. Where did you go, Minnassa? She just left. That's okay. I'm coming right back. I'm here. There she is. Hi.
I was trying to be fancy. I usually do this on my laptop, so I got it on my iPad, and I can't see the people in the chat, so I was trying to do something. I'm just going to leave it as it is. So I can't see. You all have to let me know who's in the chat.
So far, we have Teresa.
Hello.
Living. I can never pronounce your last name, Teresa. And Rachel. And Aiden reads tarot.
Now, Rachel, we were talking about you. I was trying to find your email in my phone. So, Rachel, MinnassaG@gmail. Will you send me a email, please? I want to have you on my show to talk about your Nordic deities. And Aiden.
Yes. And Aiden.
Yes.
Aiden, I love it. You know, Aiden, I was watching you and Tarot's Apprentice yesterday. That was so fun watching you guys. Hey, Cat Shepherd. Glad to see you. Good to see you. Yes. That was fun, Aiden. You and Johnny. That was great. Okay, now we'll get back to the introduction. This is my lovely friend, Tarot Living with Minnassa, the diva of divination.
Hello.
Oh, my sweet dear friend, tell us a little bit about you, or tell us a lot about you.
Well, I love divination. You know, at first I tried to be all fancy, like, I do divination because tarot, oracle. I do. I do other psychic things, but tarot is my love. That's why Tarot Living, because I want everyone to have a tarot deck and to use the tarot to help them live their best life. I'm a California girl living in the Mid-South, which has its benefits living here. We have a beautiful home. It's quiet compared to where we used to live in Southern California. Beautiful trees, so much green. Our neighbors are sweet. Our own little grocery store, like we have, like Debbie's my girl and Connie's Lily's girl, and people that know you. So if they don't see you in the store, they're like, "What's going on? Where you been?"
Yeah.
Working in a little community in South Haven, Mississippi. And so I'm loving that, but I'm just living my best life, and using the tarot is a part of that.
I love it. I love it. Hi, Janet P.
Janet P.
Yeah. So what all? You have a YouTube channel.
I have a YouTube channel, yes, Tarot Living with Minnassa. And that name, like, I thought about changing my YouTube channel to Minnassa, the Diva of Divination, but I actually had a group of friends that helped me choose that name. And they said, because Tarot Living with Minnassa sounds like an invitation.
It really does.
So I have a YouTube channel in which I have a Monday through Friday show, Mornings with Minnassa, where I do an inspirational reading, or a reading that's inspirational to me. And then I have a tarot or oracle card that goes with that. And so that's because, in addition to being a psychic and, all those words that go with using those gifts, I'm also an ordained minister. And so I'm a New Thought minister. And so that it's like a combined, we talked about Adrian. Adrian told me that once I got to a place where I could combine the gifts, that I would be serving in a bigger way. And once I thought, okay, I'm a preacher, I'm a teacher, I'm a pastor, I'm a guide, and I'm a psychic. And those gifts, I have used those gifts in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm using them in my sacred space, in my own church. So yeah, that's what I do. I have a show first Saturday and third Saturday.
And it's a great show. I love your Saturday show.
Thank you. So this Saturday, we're going to have the Crone Wisdom. I'm calling it the Gray Hair Game.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. Some new people. I haven't had a chance to interact with Sherry very much. And Allie, I was on her show, but I just really happy to have that opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for Saturday. That should be a fun show.
And yes, and Katie, I want to have you back. I'm looking to do something in the fall or winter equinox. where I want women's power. I'm still waiting for Spirit to clarify.
I got you. It's
But
just
it'll
like
be us crones. It'll be us
I
crones
got
again.
inspiration for this show from being on watching you on a Saturday.
Wow.
Spirit told me they wanted me to do this show for the newly awakened because when they go through hard times, they're not going to know how to pull themselves to feel better again. So they need to hear that psychics, mediums, and all of us have that issue too. And that we're not above them or below them.
Yes, yes.
We are there for them. So that's my whole gig on my show. And it just this was Katie. You're going to call it the Lightworkers RoundTable, and I want you to have all the Lightworkers that you know come and discuss good vibes. So here we are discussing good vibes. That's what the whole channel does. Hi, Sherry. We were just talking about you, my sweet. And Ron.
Ron is very funny. He presents kind of as this professorial type, but he is crazy sometimes.
Ron's fun. Oh, yes, he comes across so calm and quiet until you get on one of his late nights.
Exactly. And then he's just boom.
And then he's real.
Him and Kelly were on the show together, and they were just preaching about some stuff. Ron was loving it. I said, Ron is preaching.
I love it. I love it. That's the whole thing. Get in it. Use your emotions.
Indeed.
That's where I've been a lot lately, but that kind of goes with all the stuff going on in Washington. I can't even watch it at all now. Not even the headlines. It upsets me, makes me mad. Because I was 15 in 1973. I remember beforehand. I remember what it was like before. And I fought really hard to get it like it is now. Then they want to take what I fought so hard for away.
Well,
not like anybody else has ever had that issue.
Hi,
Swampy 63.
It's the last of that toxic patriarchy.
It's really, it really is. And I think we're all going to be really surprised when we find out exactly who is that toxic patriarchy, because it's on both sides.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, if you just think it's Republicans, it's not. There's a saying that the left wing and the right wing are the part of the same bird.
They are. Can't switch. It's also a part of your rowboat. Can you see how far you get with one oar?
Yeah.
You got to have both. As a matter of fact, that's what I used to have on when I had a Facebook account. That's what I used to have on my Facebook, was that my political opinion was purple because we need it all.
Indeed.
And now I'm eating those words because we don't need all the crazy. But we do need opposite opinions. It's great.
Very true.
Would you like to pull a card?
Okay, so this is a card for the collective?
Yes, this is just a general message card for the night, for the day, whatever.
Did I say thank you for having me on your show?
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. And I just love you so much.
I love you.
I love you. Okay.
We talk so much. We talk a lot. So
glad to be here. Thank you.
And when Spirit told me I was doing this, I was like, well, of course it's from her show that I got the idea. She's got to be one, I guess.
Yes, and I want to let you know, we had to drop my daughter off at the airport at 5 a.m., which meant we had to leave here at 4 a.m., which means we all got up at 3 a.m. But I was like,
I get up.
So I got home and took a nap. I thought I'm going to be on my girl show tonight. So.
Oh, well, God bless you. Thank you so much. And if I would have known, I'd have wished Lily Bon Voyage. Are you guys in the chat hearing an echo? Hearing me echo? Because I hear it, but if it's only me hearing it, then I can deal. Good old retrograde. I love Mercury retrograde.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, my card fell to the ground. So
Oh, hey, I've been doing that all day. Whoop. There went one. I'll keep that one too. That's a good card. That was my Saturday solution. Wow. Okay. And you need to pull more than one card. If the story keeps going, go.
all right, I'll pull from this new deck. But my card's pretty to the point, so.
Yeah, so are mine. You want to go first? You can. Let my guest go first. If you're ready.
So my card comes from the Angel Guide Oracle deck by Kyle Gray, and I think it's self-explanatory.
I love his deck.
The universe.
Ooh.
Trust the universe.
That's so pretty.
And then my card from the Elemental Oracle deck is the card for Rock, which is endurance. And so for me, that message is, you got to be in it for the long haul. Let the universe sees the big picture. The universe sees the bird's eye view. And so we're looking like right here, and it's like, this is not working. It's taking too long. And what happened? And I said my prayers and my affirmations. And the universe is like, bird's eye view. And so trust the universe. Get your, one of the things that my spiritual director always says is, if you're a spiritual person and when stuff's not going your way, you don't react from that spiritual talk that you talk, then you're not walking it. So the universe gives us a chance to apply what we say that we are. But always trust. I believe and I know wholeheartedly that everything is working together for my highest good and for our highest good. And so trust the universe and then get grounded in your truth. And let that truth be in you, body, mind, soul, and spirit.
Yes. Yeah, Ron, I don't have any YouTube on. It's weird. It was doing it backstage too. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, my card. First card. These are from the Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reed. Oracle. I got the Sacred Pool. This card is asking us to not only get into the flow, but it's asking us to immerse ourselves in it. We got work to do, y'all. This is not the time to be sitting back on our laurels. So if we're sitting on our laurels, we need to be floating in the stream of life. Keeping our energy high, because there are entities out there that are sucking us dry. And that's their intention. My next card I got is the Rescue card. We were just talking a little bit. I'll show it up closer. Whoop.
Now you have
this is kind of a neat card, so I'm going to go ahead and go large.
All right.
There we go. Look at this card. There's a woman standing in the cave. There's a man in a balloon. Looks like he's looking for the place to land, but he's going to fall up short, y'all. So if you're looking for somebody else to rescue you, don't. You got to do it yourself, because every time someone else you rely on someone else to rescue you, they're going to fall short because they don't know your needs like you do. They may have the best intentions in the world, but you have to rescue yourself. Quit relying on government stimulus checks or, whatever. Yes, I agree, Sherry. Time to get past all the racist stuff. And if we do this, we work on this, immerse ourselves in the sacred pool of life, rescue ourselves, we end up in metamorphosis. Free. We don't have to do that change stuff anymore. Because that change stuff is painful. But if you really think about it, someone in a chat the other day said something about, well, the caterpillar turns completely to liquid.
Yes.
Before it turns into another being. And I've always thought of it as that, well, the goo bug, the goo in the caterpillar takes over and it becomes just goo until it becomes wings. So that can't be painless to dissolve into a liquid.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not.
And then all of a sudden become something else completely from what you started. So I love that the butterfly is the metamorphosis. And the fact that we have those flamingos with the moth leaves or moth wings, they say a lot to me about love because they make a heart. And you got to have a lot of love in your metamorphosis or it's even harder. So, wow. Interesting. I'm thinking these times that we're going through right now, I struggle. I took all last week off. I had one little disappointment last week and just said, fuck it. I just took the whole week off. I needed that week. So that's why there was no Lightworkers RoundTable last week.
Okay, I was wondering what happened.
I needed I've been working my little fanny off since July 31st or July 30th. So I'm almost at a year now, and I haven't really taken any time off. I even had broken ribs, and was still doing my card of the day. So when you are down, you have a personal process that you go through to try to raise that energy level.
I do. So I sort of do it. What I try to do is not get to that place.
Yes.
So one of the things that I think of myself as a system, body, mind, soul, and spirit. So oftentimes for people, or I speak for myself, that serve in a high spiritual way and are giving and guiding and connecting with spirit in that way, it's very easy to be tired because your spirit is working very hard.
Yes.
And so one of the things, so I take care of my body. This year, I said I'm going to live my life intentionally. So that meant I have my vitamins on subscription, my probiotic on subscription, and my CMOS, on subscription. That those things are going. So I wouldn't be like, oh, I can't afford this much, so I don't get. It's like, no, this is an investment in my health. And when all of these things are working together, and vitamins for a woman over 50, I got to feeling a lot better, and I've got to rest. I go to bed at between 8 and 8:30, and more than likely at 8. So people have shows that are like 7 o'clock Pacific time or 6 o'clock. I got to catch you on the replay. I have to really get that rest, especially because I get up. You said you get up at 3. I get up at 4:15. So I've got to take care of my body because my body is the host to my amazing eternal self. And so this vehicle. And so that is one of the ways. The other one is that as I give and give and give, I got to make sure that I'm feeding myself spiritually. So I've got to stay on top with my cards. I've got to stay on top with my affirmation. And I've got to stay on top of how and who I let in my energy. So, we have a black tourmaline grid in this house. So, we protect.
Awesome. Uh-oh. Can't hear you now, Minnassa.
Oh,
there you are. I couldn't hear
Yes,
you.
my daughter keeps trying to text me. I'm sure she's letting me know that she's at my mom's house.
Ah, no problem.
So I'm just gonna let her
Keep
know.
that Lily girl safe.
Let her know I'm on a show. So I got to make sure that I am feeding myself spiritually. That by
Hmm.
doing my videos at Monday through Friday, having my show, bringing back my Tarot Tuesday, but doing that live. My Minnassa sacred space. That's all me serving in my purpose and bringing those things together. That will wear me out. So I've got to feed my soul. I got to be careful about what I'm watching on TV and what I am
Yes.
listening to and who I'm interacting with.
Yeah.
So I got black ebony, onyx protecting myself. But all that said, I try to proact. When I get down, what I do is I admit it. And I'm trying to be like, oh, it's like one time I was on, I think it might have been Scott Scorpio's show. And I just said, I'm really feeling down today. Send me some
Yeah.
love. Or I don't even think I said that. I think I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm having a hard day today. I'm really feeling down. That I stopped trying to be that. One of the things that the conversation in the black community is about killing the super black woman because she has not served us. At a time she did. But
Yeah.
now that I can do everything and I never feel down. Well, then that's why we got the highest rate of diabetes and high blood pressure and a chronic, congestive heart failure because we're keeping all that stuff in. So now it's like super
You
black
just,
woman, I thank you. You got us through slavery. You got us through Jim Crow, but give it to us. We're going to release you with joy and be an in touch person. And so sometimes I just got to say, you know what?
hmm.
I'm wearing my pajamas today, or I'm going to bed with some Glenlivet Scotch, and don't talk to me. So
That was
you just have to
me. That
admit
was
it.
me last week.
Yeah, you just have
Except
to
I didn't
admit
take
it
a
that
day.
it's not about faking the funk. It's like everybody feels
Yeah.
down, right? So it's like it's like normal, and then have someone to talk to about it.
Yes.
I
That's
think Gerald was
huge.
talking. He was talking on his show about if there's a couple days like the dishes don't get done in his house, he let his fiance Jeffrey know that that's a sign something's going on with me. Check on me.
Oh,
And so I'm blessed to have Lily and Gail. Lily, my daughter, who's been my daughter in many lifetimes. So she will just call me out. What's going on with you? Or she'll say, why are you being a monster? That's our word for being in the mood. And Gail will say the same thing. So you have to have people that will call you on your stuff in a loving way.
yes. Yeah. See, I live alone. There's nobody here to call me out on my shit, so I gotta call myself out on it.
That's true. But last week when you went, MIA, you can always just hit me up. I'm gonna
Hmm.
send you my phone number so you can actually text me and just say, "Hey, I'm feeling some kind of way," and I
Thank
will send you some
you.
love. And I'll probably call you and be like, "What's up, B?"
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah,
My
there's
friend,
just
yeah.
because you live alone doesn't mean that you are alone.
Oh, I know.
But you do have the right point that sometimes you gotta check yourself. But reach out.
Yeah,
My
um
daughter's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were on a show."
Hi,
So yeah, but yeah,
Lily.
I try to do the things to avoid getting in that place. And then there are the times that I get there, but I need to check myself. Did I do too much? Right? Did I tire myself out? I've been so busy putting my programs together and serving that I haven't even touched the tarot deck.
Yeah,
Got to
exactly.
correct those things.
Or um I listened to a few news things last night before went to bed, and I know better than that. And it put me in such a mood. I was like, okay, spirit, I know where this is coming from. Pull me out, help me. And I was fine after that. But it was like, just felt defeated, all this conspiracies and all this. It's just like everything came at me all at once. And I was like, I normally can handle this. I'm a very strong person. But it just got to the point where I had to say, for me, I didn't care for a little while. I only had
And
to
I've
care
been
for
in that
me.
place. I've been in that place this week too. When the whole thing with Roe versus Wade, whatever, the leaking things, I just thought, you know what? I don't have a dog in this fight. This is, my thing is, we could have had this taken care of if Hillary Clinton had become the president. she would have appointed those justices that are on there now.
Mm-hmm.
Lives with me. All right. Yeah, together you're hella. And I thought, okay, that this is something that, Sherry, kudos to you. To me, this is like white women and white men. Y'all need to talk to each other because you're fighting and shooting and we're getting in the mix of the mess. You don't, same thing with that when that man went and just shot up people. I'm like, where can a black person be safe? And you're mad about the drop in white women's birth rate. Then why didn't you shoot up some black folks? Right? Or immigrants. You mad about immigrants coming here. We ain't no immigrants. But I had to say, okay, you know what? I have to release that with love.
And you didn't have to come here.
And so I see it as, again, that toxic masculine, that fearful paternalism. It's rising because the divine feminine is rising. And so we've got to call it for what it is. And I've told Gail plenty of times, we need to shut this country down and have a conversation, one about sex and sexuality and about race and bigotry and prejudice. Stop being so scared. If we say this is fear-based behavior and call it for what it is, it's not a mental illness. If I went into a store and shot up a bunch of people, they wouldn't say, oh, she has mental illness. Like, she's a criminal. Okay, but when a white man does it, all of a sudden it's a mental illness. No, it's fear-based. So let's just talk about it. So what I do, because you see, I'm just, Sherry and I were talking on Facebook, and we were both preaching to each other about it. You just have to be like, I see it for what it is, and I say no. I say yes to the rise of love, yes to the rise of divine feminine, and I speak healing. To those people. Don't mean they're going to get away with what they did. And if I've been in apartheid protests, and if I have to get out on these streets again, I'll be there.
That's me too. Me too. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for the fact that we had a deadly virus involved, I would have been in on the BLM. I got kicked off of Facebook for fighting for DAPL, or to fight DAPL, Standing Rock. They threw me off of Facebook because I was so vocal about it. I'm an activist. Have been since I was old enough to do it.
So people like you and me that have marched and things, we've got to hit it two ways. We've got to recognize, the Bible gives a clue. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. So it's not the people.
Right.
It's the energy behind them. It's the spirit behind them. And so I'm going to do my work in the background. And then, you're going to see me marching on Bill Street.
You see me organizing.
I have to go home and march on Wilshire Boulevard. This is what's happening. So keep that focus. Keep your prayers. Keep shining your light. Don't let that toxic behavior in men and women dim the light. That's what's happening. So we've got to continue to shine our light, continue to speak our truth, continue to know that this ascension to 5D, the rise of divine feminine, and the rise of a healthy and whole divine masculine is what's making all this chaos happen. And so see it for what it is and keep doing it.
Exactly. And as we have our conversations, we learn to communicate with each other across the sexes, across the races. So stupid, I hate that word. Because there's only one race.
Yes, the human race.
Exactly. I get so angry. And I personally am starting my own I'm getting rid of labels. I won't use labels for people anymore. Situations. Yeah, I know I'm echoing and I don't know what to do to get rid of it. Let me try one thing here. I'm going to see if they remove this. I'm thinking it's my microphone. There's something going on here. Try to get it out of there.
Is that better? Can you? That's worse. You like my backdrop? The backdrop I have every week.
It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
That's weird. I don't know. How about if I try? I'm afraid that if I try to go out and come back, though,
Yeah, you'll take the whole show with you.
we'll
You got
drop.
it. Correct. So don't do that.
Oh. Unless I can make you a co-host, then it won't drop. Rachel's in here. I have Rachel as my backup. She watches out in case I need to remember names and stuff. That's weird. On a 5-second delay. Oh, let's do this.
Now, see, I don't hear an echo at all.
See, and I do. There. I turned my phone off. Is that it? Nope, that didn't help either. Turn the volume off on my YouTube. I don't have YouTube on, hon. Only thing I got going is StreamYard. Yeah, I know to shut down YouTube when you go live. I don't know what's going on. Thank you, Harley. It's good to see you, friend.
I say we'll make it through. Just muddle
I
through.
say we'll make it through too. I'm sorry, you guys. Hey, it's got to be retrograde because this never happened before.
Indeed. Indeed.
So anyway, how about I'm going to read the Lightworkers pledge. You can say it with me out loud or say it with me silently or just listen if you'd like. I declare a pledge to love. I will act based on judgments from the heart. I will act not based on judgments of fear or lack. I will act not controlled by self-interest, commercial, or political agendas. I will act attempting to reduce conflict and division. I will act to promote cooperation. I will act to promote consensus. I will act to promote peace. I will act recognizing the quality of all human beings. I will act to pursue a picture of collective truth rather than personal truth. I will act to acknowledge the responsibility of supporting others in their spiritual awakening. I will act and do not deliberately or knowingly misinform. I declare this pledge in love. Thank you. JR. Yes, Minnassa has a YouTube channel. All her information is down in the description box. Oh, let me put that up there. Definitely go to her channel. Show her some love.
Thank you.
Hey, Viviane. Good to see you.
Hey, Viviane.
So good to see you all. So, my dear, who was the first person when you had your awakening? Who was the person that got your attention?
You know, it's very funny. I was thinking about this. So when you sent me the questions, I was thinking, oh, it's got to be Oprah. But I thought, actually, no. It's actually Shirley MacLaine.
Yes.
Shirley MacLaine did a TV show called Out on a Limb.
Uh-huh.
And in that show, she went to a store called the Bodhi Tree Bookstore. And she said it's on Hollywood and whatever. I mean, the store does not exist anymore today in person. All right. So I called up my friend Michael and we went down to Hollywood to the Bodhi Tree bookstore. And this is before metaphysical stores, before Hay House. You try to order any of these books in here, it take you like months and months and months. And so the Bodhi Tree bookstore, because that's where she went, and the book fell off the shelf. They had little tea cups. It was those cups where you could put the little, it was like a plastic thing that fit into the cup holder, and you could drink tea, and you could sit in there and read into your heart's content. And so it was there with her. It got me thinking about aliens. It got me thinking about I am God, right? For her, I was like, what is this crazy lady saying, right? But for that whole concept, the divinity within me, my oneness with all, that is really kind of how I got started. Now, the challenge for me is that my religiosity would come in and I would feel bad, and then it would go out and I'd be like, no. So she has really got me started. And a beautiful, beautiful angel of my life, my friend Terry McCubbin, who I ended up meeting her through a job, and I was her admin, and I went with her to meet a client, and we got off the elevator, and the client said to Terry something like, do you know the secret? And Terry said, yes, do you know the secret? And I'm like, what in the heck is this secret, right? So then I watched The Secret, and that really sort of, started bringing it all together. So I would never go into the new age section of the store, but I finally forced myself to go in there. I got an Abraham Hicks book. And when I first read it, I didn't like that it said I was responsible for my life, because my life was jacked up and I didn't like it. So I'm like, this is some BS. But once I realized this empowers me, because if I'm the cause of the mess, I'm the solution to the mess.
That's right.
So I got the book again, and then I thought, oh, this is just a bunch of new age malarkey. And I went home, and just very gently, Spirit said, look up this Bible verse. And when I did it, it's in Proverbs. I probably should have checked it out first. But it said, as a person thinks in their heart, so they are. And that is exactly what I thought, oh, my God, it's been right here my whole life. And that's sort of what got me on that process of, let me discover this new age, this newer way of thinking, this expanded way of understanding. Because I'm an ordained minister, but in 2006, I walked away from the church. I literally went to the church, packed up everything, took my stuff out like at 3 a.m. and left the keys to the church sitting on the desk, because when I locked the door, it would lock. And I just walked away. I'd gone to seminary. I'd gone through the whole hazing process of becoming a minister, and I walked away from all that. And I told God, I'm walking away from you too, because you're just too psychotic, and I get all neurotic around you. I said, but in my heart, I know there's something better. And I think from making that declaration, that's how it got started. And so that's where I'm at today.
I love it. That's awesome.
So thank you, Shirley McLean.
I know. She's actually the first one that made me question. I knew at 4 years old, on Easter Sunday, at the Grand Canyon, we were at sunrise service.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And they always have an Eagle Katina dancer for that service.
They did?
Yes. Oh, wow. And the sun was coming up just as he was dancing. I was 4. Now, I remember this like it was yesterday. The sun coming up behind him as he was dancing. All I remember saying was, there has to be more. Because I'm here for Jesus, and this is a heathen person.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised.
But the sun is so illuminating him. I was 4 years old. I'm going, there's got to be more than this. So that's where the question started. And I just got worse and worse and worse. Got to the point, and I'm an ordained minister too, but I didn't go to seminary. I might as well have, because to grow up in my family, if you had any kind of debate over the Bible, you sure as shit better be able to quote it. You better know your Bible and verse if I'm going to say it. So, yeah. But that's cool. Shirley McLean.
Yes, thank you.
Always loved alien stuff. Because one of her guides was an alien.
Yes, Maya.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I love Shirley MacLaine.
Me too.
We've kind of talked a little bit about the climate, the dark hit. This is really a time in dark period in history. In this particular end of this cycle, as all ends of cycles are. They're big history makers. Do you have any advice for the newly awakened that are really disillusioned by all the darkness they're seeing? All their heads have been flipped.
Well, I think my advice is to recognize that to see the darkness, you're in a new type of light. That when you're in the darkness, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So by the fact that you can recognize it and understand, you're in a new type of light. And it's been there all along. Right? So it's not, so understand that this isn't something new.
Right.
You know, I mean, look what happened to Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
She comes, she's operating her yin yang, that divine feminine, divine masculine. But then to see that work, it scared the patriarchal, and then they end up killing her, right? So, I mean, but that light. And so we remember her. We don't know any of the names of the people that harmed her, but we remember her name. And that's
right.
the sign. The light continues. The light continues. And so for people who are like, what in the heck? Stay focused on your focus. You are the light. The divine is within you. Stay focused on that. Not be like, I got my crystals and my tarot cards and that's all I need. Okay, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, you know, what you focus on grows. So if you focus on all stuff is so evil and everything's so horrible, yes, it is. That's how it'll be. But if you focus on I'm a divine light and the goddess is in, as, and through me, and I am bringing that, and then we all get that focus. So by living your life in connection with that, that's what you do. It's a choice you make every day. Is it easy? Some days, yes. And is it hard? Some days, yes.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Every day, yes.
Yes, I agree. I find that this. I just look at the things that we've been through in the past, and this country's still here. It's gonna make it through this.
It is.
And make it through this much more refined.
Indeed. And you know, one of the things I think part of the challenge is there's a woman on Instagram named Reverend Carla. And she's a woman, I think she was actually an ordained Lutheran minister, but she began to deconstruct, like you said, there's got to be more. This stuff doesn't make sense. You know, she's deconstructing, unlearning, and then bringing back, finding the truths in there.
Yes.
And then there's a young African-American man also on Instagram. And so she's doing it, looking at the paternalistic aspect of how women are robbed of power, are supposed to do this and that. And then seeing, this is where they're really empowered. And this young man is doing the deconstruction of the African-American church. Because it is funny. When I was a minister, one time I was telling a white friend minister, I'm like, who are these black people in this church? And I was just going on and on. And when I got there, she goes, girl, it ain't because they're black. Because I have the same trouble in my church. So, you know, it's that people, they get so caught up in that religiosity. They get so caught up in that. Hey, Rachel.
Her comment goes with what you're saying.
Yes, and that's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi said a very similar thing. That, you know, so you've got to deconstruct, unlearn,
yes,
and then see the truth in that.
Yeah, and it's the unlearning that's the hard part.
It is, because you realize
you've been very immersed in religiosity, because you have that ingrained fear that what if I'm doing something wrong and they were right and I will go to hell. I don't believe in hell so anymore, but that's the way I used to be. And I remember those days, and I didn't have anybody to turn to or to talk to, or I just knew that my mom and dad were having marital problems. They went to their pastor for counseling, right? Well, he wanted to see me because at the time I was newly diagnosed with fibromyalgia and was living with my parents. It was a real hard time, and they were fighting. Anyway, He wanted to see me because he basically told me it was all my fault because I lived there.
Oh, yes.
So you know what I told him? Angels don't agree with you, and I know I'm right because I just smelled roses. And he went, "What?" I said, "You mean you don't know that when you smell roses, but there's no roses around, there's an angel standing beside you?" And he said, "That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard." And I got up and walked out and never went back. I have synesthesia, so when I smell roses, I get happy.
Very true. And so, yes, you got to work the process. And, you know, even like history, like the question is, why do we know about the pilgrims, but we know nothing about the native tribes that helped them? You know, if it wasn't for the native tribes, the pilgrims would have never made it.
They'd have
You know, why
starved
do
to
we
death.
know about, you know, why do we know about George Washington, but we know very little about George Washington Carver, right? Because history is, you know, like women obviously didn't do anything in history until like the 1900s. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got to unlearn what they wanted you to know and just do it bit by bit. Like I tell you, my daughter.
Here's one.
Brigitte, yes. So
Here's one.
Brigitte, the Celtics loved her so much that the Catholic Church had to make her a saint because they weren't giving her up. But you know, when my daughter told me that George Washington, all my life I knew that George Washington had wooden teeth, right? That's what they told me.
Yeah.
When they said no, actually his teeth were made from his slaves' teeth, and that they yanked them. I was like traumatized for a week. I'm like, why did you even include that in history? You should have just the learning the truth is worse. You should have just never talked about his teeth.
Yeah, and they went into a wooden base.
And that was like a process. It's like So you got to just people were, Maya Angelou says when you know better, you do better. And so people doesn't excuse their behavior, but it explains that they were doing the best that they could. And when you're fear-based and disconnected from your divinity and the truth of who you are, you're going to be unloving. You're going to be judgmental. You're going to be toxic because you're in that fight or flight survival mode.
Exactly. And that's
now
the thing
we
that
recognize those.
That's the thing that we're finding now. Our fight or flight survival mode has been actually used against us.
Correct. So
and
step in
so we need to learn the appropriate times to go into fight or flight.
Correct. We got to get our voice back.
You can't. Yeah, and you can't do that without, because people have a tendency to, something happens, boom, they react. They don't even think about what they're doing or saying.
Correct. Go within first.
You got to take a step back, take a breath, and then act. Don't
That's right.
react.
Even after if it says slap a bitch, then okay, do it. But come with that holy, you know what I'm saying?
But take a breath first, then slap her.
Go within.
Yes.
Proact. Interact.
Yes.
And then you can react.
Exactly. Yeah, I have been thinking about on this channel, and I need someone who's a little bit better at the Bible and stuff that I am. I want to discuss the Nag Hammadi.
So the Nag Hammadi text, that's a whole conversation. I would love to be a part of that.
I would love to have you be there, please. Please.
So the Nag Hammadi is a version of the Bible that has similar text and then have different texts. So to even have that conversation, you got to talk about the Council of Nicaea, where a whole bunch of men got together and decided what books were going to be in the Bible. So that's why no one knows about Thecla. So who's that? There's a whole story about her. And
they don't know the whole story of Lilith.
Correct. Well, Lilith is even older than Nag Hammadi. That's from Jewish lore. That's a whole
that's story. From the Kabbalah.
Correct. Wait, why do you say a lullaby, right? Because Lilith is going to come and try to kill your children, right? So you say a lullaby, Lilith goodbye. That's really but why was Lilith so horrible?
Why was she so demonized?
Right, because she wanted to be treated as an equal. God. She wanted to be treated as an equal. And in a patriarchal society, there was
Yeah.
So, let's have a conversation about that.
I would love to.
The Bible, you got to get a basis for an understanding, but yeah, for sure.
I even have a copy.
On that.
I was just looking up here. Where is it? I've even got a copy of it.
Better
It's
knock 'em
all
out of here.
dog-eared, marked up, and
I got
my
one
favorite
too.
is the Book of Thomas. I love the Book of Thomas. I could pattern my whole life on that. Because that is the actual, Jesus tells you the secret. In the Book of
One of the
Thomas.
things that's a whole different conversation is about why are the books written by the apostles, right? Who we were taught were the apostles, who got the teaching from the horse's mouth, no disrespect to Master Teacher Jesus by using that term.
Yeah.
But why is Paul, who was not even near Master Teacher Jesus, who Paul says himself in the book of Acts that when he went to talk to Peter and those guys, they were like, nah, brother, step off, right? They wouldn't even acknowledge him. So,
he was,
but
yeah,
they just kind of gloss over that. So why? And then we let this man who they wouldn't even acknowledge and who wasn't near Jesus write the majority of the Bible?
Because he demanded to be crucified upside down.
It's because he was very, I would say if you wanted to destroy a religion, what's the best way to do it? Get inside of it.
That's right.
So yeah, that's
I've never liked Paul.
That is a conversation.
I don't like the letters from Paul, all of that.
We're gonna talk.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have a good talk. I think we're gonna talk for hours and days, lady.
Indeed.
Hi, Hugger Greeter.
Here.
I love you, Greeter, TK.
Oh, hey,
and
Greeter.
I do love your new name.
Hugger Greeter. She was good as Greeter too. She's very good.
Yes.
This shoulder, I feel like I'm being like a loose woman with my
that's me.
shoulders all hanging out.
This thing I have on is like 2 sizes too big. So I lost a whole lot of weight. So most of my clothes fit really good. I don't buy new clothes till they wear out or fall off.
Yours is close to falling off.
What do you do? What's your favorite activity for a quick recharge?
Well, I know you had naps. So I think one of my favorite activities, sort of combination of 2 questions that you have. One is to listen to something by Deva Premal or Ricky Byers. That music will uplift me. It touches me, and I am recharged. Just take that time and just listen to their music. I love them. And then the other thing is, which is something I've been doing more and more, which is to spend less time on my iPad or phone and to read a book. So sometimes I do that through my Kindle, but I went to in Chattanooga, they have a used bookstore, which was like walking into heaven.
Yeah,
I
love how a used bookstore smells.
Yeah, I love mystery books. I love books that are in a series where I can get to know the characters. And so some days I'm like, no, you're not going to watch YouTube. Yes, you want to support the community, but today you're going to, and I could just, I love to read. Yeah, I do too. I'm a writer. You better like to read. Indeed. Yeah, for my quick recharge, it really depends on how tired or down I am, whether it's a physical one or a spiritual or emotional one. When it's emotional, I dive into music. I'll go into pop music, whatever. I'll get for instance, the other day, I just kept hearing Dire Straits. Go listen to Dire Straits. Well, that guitar is just in a megahertz that raised my vibration. Or there's time every morning I start with the meditation with Native American flute music. And that centers me. And then I do my morning card. Then I finish by doing it again. And then I might stay in that meditation for 3 or 4 hours afterwards. But that's my process, is doing that morning card. That card is as much for me as anyone else. So, and I try to get, the reason I get up at 3 is so that I can get that card on Instagram for the people back east
before they go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So people like Adrian and Johnny and, so that if
Yes,
they
that's
want to
why
look
my
at it,
show's
it's there.
posted. And my show's posted at 6:30 a.m. My California friends like, that's so early. I'm like,
It's
y'all
4:30 here.
It's like, yeah, y'all can catch it on the replay.
I catch it on the replay. Yeah. I actually have a routine of people that I listen to in the morning. And you're one. And I get in a routine of doing that. And then somebody will change their won't be doing it anymore. I was like, wait. A creature of habit. Well, we're coming up on our hour. Did you have anything in particular like you wanted to add? Like something for grounding or I usually do something like a breathing. Adrian had a beautiful prayer last time. She did the Hawaiian. I can never pronounce it.
The
Hopo'ono'ono.
Yes.
Yeah, Hopo'ono'ono. So I just didn't know if you had something that you wanted to share.
Well, I think one of the things that I enjoy doing, and so I don't know, are you saying to end the show, to do something to end the show? Well, excuse me.
Sure.
It's right there. Is I would like to end the show with a body scan. And so this is a mindfulness technique to get you into your body. See, part of the challenge is for many of us that are constantly working in the third eye chakra and our crown chakra,
That's me. I'm all air.
Yeah, we've got to be grounded. Well, you're a crazy Aquarius, right?
I'm an Aquarius with a Gemini rising and a Leo moon.
Mercy.
I have loud air. My parts are loud.
This is a way, a meditative technique that I use when I had coaching clients to help you get centered now it's before you go on a Zoom call at work, or even before you would walk into your office. If there was, you'd feel scattered or not inviting energy, to a way to get you in your body and connected. And so it's called a body scan. And so we can do a 2-minute version of that to end the show.
I'd like that.
All right. So if you're sitting and not driving, just have you really get comfortable in your chair. I'm going to invite you to just wiggle your fingers and your toes. So this is to get you present to your body, right? Because you have to be cognizant of what you're doing. So wiggle your fingers and your toes just to get you present to your body. And then you can just put your hands in your lap or down and take a breath in. Just fill your diaphragm. In LA, you got to suck our stomachs in because we're always trying to be beautiful and not fat. Well, forget that. That's a false illusion. And so we're just going to fill our stomach. Let your stomach go out. Fill it with air. And then we're going to exhale. So let's all breathe in. And out. I forgot. You got to push the air out and roll your shoulders. Just again about getting our body involved. You got to be so spiritual and forget your body. Your body is housing your spirit. Let's do it one more time to breathe in and out. And you're at this place, I'm going to invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes, or if not, to cast your gaze down. I'm going to invite you to wiggle your toes, so we're going to start at your feet. So you bring your attention to your toes, and you can stop wiggling. And we'll bring your attention to your toes. Then the arch of your foot. Bring your attention to your heel. Bring your attention to the top of your foot. Now bring your attention to your ankles. Your lower leg, which are your shin and your calves. And bring your attention to your knees. Now bring your attention to your thighs, those beautiful quadriceps, those big muscles that help you move and groove and dance. And just be present. Now we're going to just be present to our bottoms as it's in the chair. Those 4 Another set of big muscles, the glutes, that move us around. And then become present to the trunk of your body that houses all the gross organs that do so many amazing things, from your anus to your colon, your intestines, your spleen, your kidney, your liver, your gallbladder, all those organs that work so well in helping us digest and excrete and clear out and filter. Just thank you, thank you. Then bring our attention to our stomach and now our lungs, and let's fill them with air again. And out. And then bring our attention to our heart, a beautiful space that pumps blood all through our body and holds our spark of the divine. Think about our spine, our pelvic bone, our tailbone, our ribs, and our shoulders. And let's bring our shoulders up to our ears and drop them, because often we're holding tension there. And have you wiggle your fingers to get your attention back to your hands, the palm of your hand, the top of your hand, the wrist, your lower arm, your elbows, your upper arm, and back to your shoulder. Look at the back of your neck and your throat, your ears, your jawline. And you can just gently open your mouth to release any tension there. The back of your head, your mouth, your nose, your cheeks, your eyes, your eyebrows, your forehead, and the top of your head. Let's take a deep breath in again. And out. And then let's go through our chakra, root chakra, at our tailbone, sacral chakra, beneath our belly button, solar plexus chakra, above our belly button, heart chakra, right in the center, throat chakra, third eye chakra, at our eyebrows, crown chakra at the top of our head. I am present. God is. I am. And so it is.
Ooh, wow. Angel just touched me.
All right.
And my kundalini went zing right up my spine.
Yes, when you get connected to our bodies, we spend so much time in it, but we're not connected to it. And it is our partner.
It is. It really, really is. Thank you, Minnassa. That's wonderful. I do a little exercise like that when I can't sleep at night. And I taught it to my mom. And she was surprised at how well it works. You just slowly relax the muscles, beginning with your toes, going up your body. And by the time you get to your head, you're sound asleep.
Yeah, you're knocked out.
Yeah. Well, I always close with a little saying: shine your light and make a positive impact on the world. There is nothing so honorable as helping improve the lives of others. By Roy T. Bennett. And that says everything about being a light worker. That's what we're here for. We're here for others. And we've been being quiet for a long time, and now is our time.
Agreed.
Thank you so much, Minnassa, for coming and joining us.
My pleasure.
And you're welcome here anytime. You have a standing invitation.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to the Nagamadi conversation.
Oh, me too. Something, this real meat. We can dig into this. We can, yeah. You want to make, we'll talk, girl. We'll talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody, for coming, sharing.
Yes, love to the chat. Love you all.
Swampy 60 and Ron and Greeter and Mama Bear and Sharon Sipe and Viviani and Harley Grower and Stony Baker MD and you guys are wonderful. I love you all.
Awesome.
Be kind to one another, but most of all, please be kind to yourself.
Indeed.
Because you can't help anybody if you aren't ready. You got to take care of you. Oh, hi, Linda Sandoval. We're just getting ready to go.
You can catch the replay, Linda.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's good to see you, Linda.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much, everybody. You have a good evening and a great weekend.
Indeed.